I am a person who is still searching for who I am. Along my search, I know that there are a lot of things that I would like to fulfill. And one of those things are to definitely improve the quality of life in my life and the lives of others. Man, it is amazing how the mysteries of life work. I mean, after every dark night, there is a bright day. And that always gives me hope. You know, I feel a sense of peace, and I like the way it feels. I personally do not believe in death. You know, I believe in transformation, for better lack of words. I do believe that there is an afterlife.
Dreams are hopeless aspirations and hopes are coming true. Believe in yourself, the rest is up to me.
Lisa Lopez, also known as Left Eye, was born on May 27, 1971, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to her mother, Wanda Lopez, and her father, Ronald Lopez. She also had two siblings, Raina and Ronald Jr. They seemed to be a happy family, but behind the smiles in the family photos and the laughter in the family videos hid a dark cloud that hovered over the Lopez family. Her father was a very strict and domineering man that ruled their home with an iron fist. He was a staff sergeant in the Army, and according to Lisa, he ran their household just like a boot camp. When he would come home late at night, if something was out of place in the house, he would wake up his 3 young children, line them up against the wall, and make them stand at attention, then berate them about what they did wrong, even if it was something as simple as a pen being left on the floor.
My dad did the craziest stuff. I remember one time, you ever have a dad that's so strict that they just pick the real little pickiest stuff, and they get you out of bed 3 o'clock in the morning. I mean, we all, now, me and my sister and my brother, we all have to get up 6 o'clock in the morning. Now, he's a sergeant, he's in the Army, so.
Mr. Ronald! Mr. Ronald, get downstairs right now.
Everybody, get out the bed, get out the bed. Don't let your head touch the pillow, get out the bed. Stand up on your 2 feet. If you let the head touch the pillow, you're in trouble. So we get up.
How many times did the 3 of you look at that pen on the ground and not stop and think to pick it up?
Lisa's mom was more laid back with an easygoing personality. She was a seamstress who loved to design clothes, and her grandfather, Jose Adino, had famous artwork. Andy was a furniture designer. Her mother's side of the family is where Lisa would get her artistic side, drawing and being creative. Her musical talents would come from her father's side of the family. Her grandfather was a saxophone player down at the Cotton Club in the 1930s, and her father, he was a part of the Army band. According to Lisa, he could play every instrument: the harmonica, the clarinet, the saxophone, the piano. He was a musical prodigy, and by the young age of 4 years old, Lisa was already playing the piano too. But although she came from an immensely talented family, her family was very troubled as well. During his time in the military, Lisa's dad developed an addiction to alcohol that caused him to get verbally aggressive towards his kids and physically aggressive towards his wife. But as the years passed, she realized that it was too much for her to bear and that she needed to make a change for the sake of her children. So after 12 years, she divorced Lisa's dad, took the 3 kids, and moved down to Florida to start a new life. Lisa said that she gained a lot of respect for her mom during this time, seeing how strong she was. Lisa and her siblings would put on talent shows for their mom, trying to bring a smile to her face and brighten up her day. But despite their mother's best efforts, things didn't work out down in Florida, and the circumstances would cause Lisa and her siblings to be forced to move back to Philadelphia to live with her grandmother on her dad's side. But instead of her grandmother's home being a place of peace and a sanctuary, according to Lisa, it was more like a house of misery that was similar to the 1981 psychological drama film, Mommy Dearest. Her grandmother would play mind games and do things like hide the iron, so Lisa would have to go to school with wrinkled clothes on, or telling her that she can't wash her hair because she's running up the water bill. She would also tell Lisa that the only clothes that she would buy her that looked presentable would be church clothes, because that's the only place that she needed to look good. And due to her tumultuous home life, Lisa's grades at school began to slip, and she began to have behavioral issues. She just couldn't concentrate because of everything she had going on in her mind. She would frequently run away from home with nowhere in particular to go. She was just running, trying to escape the pain. But there was one bright spot in living with her grandmother. On the weekends, her dad would come by and they would hang out, party, and drink to excess. Lisa's father, who had issues with alcoholism, found out that his daughter could drink large amounts of liquor without really getting tipsy. And he was so proud of Lisa, he would cheer her on as she drank bottle after bottle of liquor.
You know, my father come over and check on me every weekend. We'd have the case of beer, you know, and hey, we'd get down. And that was one of the ways I got a lot of attention. When I was 15, I could actually drink a large amount of alcohol and not get tipsy. So that was my thing, you know. I would drink, and my father would say, look at her go, look at her go.
Lisa was always searching for approval and acceptance from her father, but now they could finally connect, and Lisa could receive acceptance and love in a swimming pool full of alcohol. But despite everything that happened in her life, Lisa knew that she possessed a special gift. She would perform at local talent shows as a rapper, singer, model, anything to be on stage, because she knew that one day the whole world would know her name and that she would be a star.
It was being in the front, doing the rapping, or being the background dancer.
Dealers helping kids to get all hot. They don't care about nothing. They have no home. They're either living with the gang or all alone. Guys have 20 kids, never had a wife. Well, that's what you get when you live street life.
Good evening with Lisa Lopez. We're leaving the 80s in style and hitting the 90s, hotter and fresher than ever.
Anything you want to say to your fans?
Yeah. Just remember that y'all see me on this videotape 10 years from now and y'all see me in the movies.
Tell them to say no to drugs.
And say no to drugs.
Thank you very much.
In her late teens, Lisa decided that she could no longer live with her grandmother. She couldn't take the stress or the psychological trauma any longer. So she got her own place to establish her independence. And this would also be around the same time that her then boyfriend gave her information that would change her life. He told her about auditions that were being held down in Atlanta by a music producer named Ian Burke and a teenage singer that he was managing named Crystal Jones. They had the idea of a hip-hop inspired R&B group like the female version of Belle Biv DeVoe. And Lisa had a feeling that this could be her opportunity to make it into the music industry so she could become the star that she knew she was destined to be, and the timing couldn't have been more perfect. Lisa had just made a music video in which she was paid $750. In her 19-year-old mind, she felt like this was a lot of cash and she had enough money to bust a move. So she packed up all of her belongings, including a keyboard that she would use to create music, her dreams, and headed down to Atlanta to begin her journey.
Let me ask you, do you think the world of television and entertainment is a hard business to get into, or relatively simple?
Oh, it's very hard. It's very hard. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Look right into this camera, and I want you to tell many aspiring entertainers advice.
Okay. One thing I like to start off by saying is hold fast, hold on to your dreams. If something fails, if you go out for an audition or something like that and you don't get it, don't let that stop you. Just keep on. Step back up, stand back up, and try again. And you keep trying, and once you get your foot halfway in the door, that's your doorway. That's the opening. First thing, key to success.
Lisa would beat out hundreds of other girls at the auditions, along with Tion T-Boz Watkins, and together with Crystal Jones, they formed the group Second Nature. And after meeting up-and-coming Atlanta producer Jermaine Dupri, they began to work on their demo tape. But while Second Nature was trying to break into the music industry, Lisa would run into some financial issues, and her grandfather, Jose Adino, would have to send her money from time to time to help her get by. And it would be more adversity on the path to her dreams, because on January 25th, 1991, her father, Ronald Lopez, was shot and killed at a family gathering by a relative, and it's said that alcohol played a major factor in the incident. According to Lisa's mom, when she called her and told her the news about her father's passing, she didn't show much emotion. She wasn't even sure if her daughter cried. Lisa and her father always had a very complicated and complex relationship, and it's something that she would struggle with for the rest of her life. But Lisa knew that she had to keep going, pursuing her destiny, because soon, Second Nature would get the lucky break that they had been looking for. T-Boz was working at a hair salon, and somebody there had a connection to Perry Reed, also known as Pebbles, a 1980s R&B singer who decided to start her own management company. And she was the wife of the co-CEO of LaFace Records, Antonio L.A. Reid. Established in 1989, LaFace Records would quickly become the go-to spot in Atlanta for artists looking to break into the music industry. And after auditioning for Pebbles, she loved what she saw and wanted to sign the group to her management company. In conjunction with LaFace and Arista Records, she would also change the name of the group from Second Nature to TLC, standing for Tion, Lisa, and Crystal. But they would run into issues right away. LaFace Records felt like Crystal Jones wouldn't be a good fit, and they wanted her out. According to Crystal, it's because she refused to sign contracts that were presented to the group without lawyers present. But according to other sources, it was T-Boz and Left Eye's decision for her to depart the group. She would be replaced by a backup dancer for the first artist ever signed to LaFace Records, an R&B duo by the name of Damian Dame. Pebbles wanted to keep the TLC name going, so Rosanda had to come up with a name that would fit the group, and that's when Lisa would give her the nickname of Chili. As soon as she joined TLC, it was like they knew each other their whole lives. They would make lifelong friendships and, more importantly, become sisters. This was also around the same time that Lisa would get her nickname that the whole world would come to know her by, Left Eye. It's said that one day at the studio, while working with Michael Bivins of New Edition and Belle Biv DeVoe, he noticed that her left eye was slightly bigger than her right eye, and he thought it was cute, so he started calling her Left Eye, and the name stuck. And as TLC began working on their debut album, Left Eye would make a friend that would impact the rest of her life, Tupac Shakur. They met at an industry event and immediately started to vibe with one another. But their relationship would never escalate past a platonic level. They were too busy chasing their own dreams, but they would stay in contact and always remain close. And in late 1991, when they completed the recording of their album, Lisa knew that they were going to be stars, just like she dreamed about as a little girl growing up in Philadelphia. And when their debut album dropped in February of 1992, it was followed by a string of hits, like What About Your Friends, Ain't Too Proud to Beg, and their highest charting single from the album, Baby Baby Baby.
Oh, baby, baby, baby.
I should talk about your name, and I'm glad the glasses fell off because it's a perfect transition.
Left Eye? Well, first of all, the name is Left Eye because the eye is right, everybody.
That was cute.
No, a guy came up to me and said he was very attracted to me because of my left eye.
Yeah, I like it when you both sets the lips on the TLC time.
Fans immediately fell in love with TLC, their catchy songs, bright clothes, and Lisa's bright personality that could light up a room made them fan favorites, performing at sold-out concerts and late-night television shows. TLC was all over, and they would make their debut on the big screen in the 1993 film House Party 3. And as TLC was riding high on their newfound fame, love would find Left Eye in the form of a man who was also making moves on the ATL entertainment scene, a NFL wide receiver by the name of Andre Rison. They met one night at a club in Atlanta, and at first, Left Eye wasn't really feeling Andre, but they kept seeing each other around, and after about the 4th time meeting, they finally hit it off, and they would become inseparable. A few days after making their relationship official, Left Eye got a call from Andre, telling her to come out so she could see his new home, and when she arrived, she was amazed by the estate, and Andre was hanging out of the front window of the home, excited to show his new place and excited to see Left Eye. But once she got inside, she was confused because the mansion was completely empty. She turned to Andre and asked him, "Why you got this big old house with no furniture?" And that's when he grabbed her by the hand, looked her in the eyes and told her, "That's because I've been waiting on you to come and furnish it." She said it felt like something out of a fairy tale, and this will mark the beginning of a very passionate and intense romance. Left Eye stated that she was never able to tell him "I love you" first because he would always beat her to it, and he said it so much. She said her go-to line was "I love you too." He would shower her with gifts, cars, clothes, jewelry, anything that she wanted. He always wanted her to feel special and loved. She said that he was one of the most giving and unselfish people that she ever met. He helped out so many, including family and friends. It was only one thing that he refused to share, that he refused to relinquish control over, and that was his woman, Lisa. Left Eye said Andre would have to approve her clothes, where she was going, and who she was going with. He had to know her location at all times, no matter what the circumstances. And their once warm and loving relationship would begin to show signs of being unhealthy and volatile. On September 2nd, 1993, outside of Club 112 in Atlanta, Left Eye and Andre got in a very heated argument that turned physical. Two men who were passing by tried to intervene to help Left Eye, and after being confronted by the two men, Andre went to his vehicle to get his weapon and started letting off shots in the parking lot. The police were called and Andre was promptly arrested, but Left Eye would also find herself in the backseat of a cop car. As they were trying to arrest Andre, she was trying to stop him and caught an assault charge for kicking a cop in the leg. Despite the incident, Left Eye and Andre would stay together. Even with all of the turmoil and volatility within their relationship, they were still in love. But Left Eye would soon realize that those gifts and that love came with a price, and that price was her freedom.
He was very romantic and he was my best friend. But there were some parts about it that weren't that good. It was very jealous and very possessive. I didn't have any freedom. That's a big problem. Freedom. Anything. Ask first. I needed permission to do things. When we got together, he really didn't like for me to go out too much. So I just didn't go out.
While Andre Rison would be out living the life of an NFL star, hitting the club, different women, popping bottles, Lisa would be back at their mansion, waiting and wondering when he was coming home. This would cause them to argue on a regular basis, especially over the subject of infidelity. Left Eye said that Andre was the first man she ever stayed with that cheated on her. But on June 8th, 1994, Left Eye had an idea. She was going to give Andre a taste of his own medicine. Her plan was to put on her sexiest outfit, call up her girls and hit the club, and disappear for the night, leaving Andre at home, waiting and wondering where she was at and what she was doing. But her plan would backfire. When she arrived home at 5 a.m. on June 9th, Andre was nowhere to be found. He had been out partying too. A few minutes after Left Eye arrived, Andre pulled up. His headlights were shining on her as he pulled into the driveway, and Left Eye was pissed. She couldn't wait to get at him. As soon as Andre stepped out of his vehicle, they began to argue, screaming and yelling at one another, and it carried over into the home. According to Left Eye, things got physical on both sides. They were very intoxicated, and after hours of arguing, Andre would leave the house to clear his mind, and Left Eye, she would pass out, drunk and exhausted from arguing. And when she woke up a few hours later and looked in the mirror, she was horrified by the sight. She couldn't even recognize her own face.
No.
And then you wake up surprised.
No, this is not happening. I'm gonna kill him. I was still enraged. I was still hurt. But I didn't even recognize myself.
So.
I was like, no. I said, he's staying out late. He fucking other bitches. He ain't coming home. He ain't buying me no tennis shoes. He ain't even thinking about me. He's totally disrespecting me. Bruce McKay.
And as she stared into the mirror, tears began to fall. She was overwhelmed with emotion, thinking about everything that she had went through with Andre. She stepped away from the mirror and into the walk-in closet, where she noticed that Andre had bought dozens of pairs of shoes, and Left Eye thought to herself, in one of those boxes it better be a size 4, there better be a pair for her. And as she frantically began to open each box, she realized that none of them was for her, and she became enraged and started dumping the shoes into the bathtub. And after finding some lighter fluid, she set them ablaze. But as the flames began to rise, Left Eye found herself staring in a trance, hypnotized by the flames, and the fire would spread quickly, and Lisa's sister Raina would have to bust into the bathroom to snap her out of it and get her to safety. But once outside, Left Eye wasn't done. She took a pipe and began to break the windshields on Andre's luxury vehicles, one by one. By the time the fire department arrived, the mansion was already engulfed in flames, and by the time Andre Rison got there, his $1.3 million mansion was now just a memory.
House across the street, a neighbor across the street, his house is on fire. It's in flames on one of the sides of the house.
I didn't do anything wrong, and God is my witness. You have two celebrities, that's in a relationship. That's one of the toughest relationships to ever have, She has her career and I have mine. Me, myself, I think we were doing great as far as our schedules were concerned and as far as our love for one another. But, there's a certain extent to love, You can have fatal love, you can have endure love,
Lopez was charged with felony first-degree arson and criminal destruction to property. A witness said she damaged 3 cars before leaving the burning house.
You're supposed to be a superstar. There's no superstar.
On June 10th, 1995, Left Eye would turn herself in to authorities, being charged with felony arson, then being released on a $75,000 bond. Her lawyer and people in her inner circle tried to get her to understand how much trouble she could potentially be in. But Left Eye claims that she never felt she was going to prison for any extended period. She knew what she did was just an accident and that she only meant to burn the shoes. She didn't mean to burn the whole house down. Although she did admit, as she stood outside and watched the house burn, she felt a sense of relief because what had started off as a dream ended up being a house of nightmares. And once the media got wind of the story, it would make headline news. A pop star burning down the home of her NFL boyfriend captivated the public's attention. And it coincided with TLC hitting the studio to begin recording their highly anticipated second album, Crazy Sexy Cool. Left Eye said that she didn't mind the media attention because she knew that came with the fame. Plus, it helped the group get more notoriety because every time you mentioned Left Eye, you had to mention TLC. One thing that did bother her is that she felt Andre was being portrayed as the victim, while she was being portrayed as the crazy, out-of-control girlfriend who was a pyromaniac and an alcoholic.
You got him, pegged out to be the victim. You got me looking like an alcoholic.
Lisa has an alcohol problem and has actually had an alcohol problem for some time.
I think that they were just two very different personalities, and they were very strong personalities, both of them vying to be number one.
over it to the point where, you know, I can function and be happy every day and, you know, not let it get to me and bother me. So, I mean, things happen, but, you know, I got to put it behind me and keep on moving and do good.
Are you going to plead not guilty at the trial?
Well, you'll see.
Lisa would remain defiant throughout the proceedings of her court case, and one person that surprisingly stayed by her side through it all was Andre Rison. Despite people in both of their inner circles expressing how they felt that the relationship was toxic and needed to end, Andre and Lisa just couldn't let go. For better or for worse, they were in love. Ultimately, Lisa would be sentenced to time at a diversion center and 5 years probation.
At her court appearance, Lopez and Rison appeared together, smiling. The football star told the judge he and Lopez had reconciled.
But I can guarantee you that it would never happen again, and it was a great learning experience.
Lopez also addressed the court.
Nothing was planned. There was never any intention to hurt anyone.
People could have died. Other houses could have burned. And there's just no way to get around that. And you need to own it and accept it.
I had to go to jail, and I had to wait there because they sentenced me to 3 months in a diversion center. So until my bed was ready at the diversion center, I went to jail. I only stayed there for 5 days. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Actually, it was better. The diversion center was hell.
She would be admitted to Charter Peachford Rehab Center, where she would receive treatment for alcoholism. But Lisa felt that she didn't deserve to be at the diversion center. Whenever they would have meetings and ask patients to identify their addiction, Left Eye would refuse to say alcohol, even though deep down inside she knew it's something that she had struggled with all the way back to her teenage years, when she would drink with her dad on the weekends. Her friends even gave her an alter ego for whenever she got drunk, named Nikki, because Nikki did whatever she wanted and said whatever she wanted. It was like a completely different person.
Me and alcohol, when we get together, it's a different story. There was this girl, they used to call her Nikki. Every time I got drunk, this girl named Nikki would show up. When I got drunk, I was just a different person. I was just somebody that people was just like, man, that ain't Lisa, that's Nikki.
When Left Eye first arrived to the diversion center, Andre would visit her constantly, showing her support and love. But as time passed, Left Eye began to notice that Andre was showing up less and less, and sometime he would be scheduled to come and he would never show. This sent her into a dark place. She felt alone and abandoned. While Andre was out living his life, she was stuck in a treatment facility, wondering where he was at and who he was with. But Left Eye would soon find some light in the darkness that she was going through, because she would get 3-hour breaks away from the diversion center to go to the studio and listen to the material that TLC had been working on. And during one of those drives to the studio, Left Eye found herself admiring the scenery, the buildings, the birds, the beautiful sky, the sun. She had a newfound appreciation for all of the little things that life has to offer, and this experience would inspire her to write her iconic lines for the classic TLC song, Waterfalls. Left Eye completed her time at the diversion center, but when she left, she wouldn't be leaving alone. While she was there, she befriended a single mom who had fallen on hard times. Left Eye took a liking to the woman and to her little daughter Snow, and she asked the mom if it would be okay if she adopted the little girl and to help raise her. The woman agreed, but during the adoption process, she passed away. Left Eye still adopted her daughter, and little Snow would become a big part of her life.
I adopted a little girl, and her name is Snow.
Yes, no. You not play piano? I'm gonna teach you, okay?
She's just a little busybody. She's so advanced that she doesn't know what to do with herself. So we're gonna take Snow and give her the proper love and attention that she needs. You know, children have such a great energy about themselves that it just spreads. You can't help but to feel it. It's contagious.
Despite feeling like he abandoned her in the diversion center, Left Eye would continue to see Andre off and on in a very volatile relationship with numerous fights, usually fueled by alcohol. And with her newfound freedom, she also had more time to spend with her good friend, Tupac Shakur. Left Eye stated that she would go over to his home. They would talk about what they had going on in their lives, what was going on in the world, and just having deep conversations. They would also talk about her up and down relationship with Andre Rison. Their conversations even inspired Tupac to create a song about Left Eye's situation on his classic album, Me Against the World, and the name of that song was Can You Get Away?
It's for a little while, love. I know it's hard, but can you get away?
It was really neat to look at the way he wrote it down. Not only, you know, what he was saying, but how it was written. You know, and a lot of the words he substituted with little symbols like the eyeball for the word eyes. Man after my own heart.
After almost a year of recording, TLC was ready to release their second album, even though they had to deal with the media firestorm from Left Eye burning down Andre Rison's mansion. They were now ready to make music be the first thing that came to mind whenever somebody mentioned TLC. They knew what they created was special, and it would have a major impact on the music industry. TLC had the vision to create something historic.
And then I said, people look at me like I'm crazy, Chilli sexy, and Tiana's cool. What can the word be? Chilli, even though people look at her like she's sexy, she's silly. She be acting stupid.
Yeah, break it down.
Know, they say she's cool, but you know, I see Tiana sometimes trying to get a little bit sexy, trying to put on some girl clothes sometimes and stuff. And me, you know, they say I'm crazy, but I'm cool as hell. So I was like, we all crazy, sexy,
I mean, so
cool.
why you get the cool as hell?
See, I didn't know
we
if it's
you know what I'm
sexy
saying?
or
Crazy,
crazy.
just trying to throw on some
So
Crazy Sexy Cool would go straight to the top of the charts, making TLC the highest selling female group of all time. They would go on a worldwide tour to promote their successful album. Tokyo, Japan, London, Paris, France. They were known all over the globe, selling millions of records, making millions of dollars in revenue. But TLC would soon learn one of the most important unspoken rules of the music industry, that if you're able to create hit records, you can gain worldwide attention and millions of adoring fans and unlimited amounts of notoriety and fame. But one thing that's not guaranteed with that fame is the fortune, the monetary compensation. TLC began to voice their frustrations with their contracts to Pebbles and to LaFace Records. It's said that they bust into the office of Clive Davis, who was the founder of Arista, the parent company of LaFace Records, demanding to be paid at gunpoint. But as reports began to leak that TLC was having financial issues, all while having an album at the top of the charts, people began to ask the question, how could the highest selling female group of all time be going broke at the height of their success? And Left Eye, being the most boisterous in the already outspoken group, would break it all the way down.
trust me, you can sell 10 million albums and be broke if you have greedy people behind you. All right, this is how a group can sell 10 million records and be broke. And everyone, get ready to do your math. When we first started out, we were kind of cocky. Okay, there are 100 points on the album. TLC had 7. Every point is equal to 8 cents. All right? 7 times 8, 56 cents. But as time went on, we learned a lot. That means every time an album gets sold, TLC gets 56 cents. So 10 million records, $5.6 million. Seems like a lot of money. Well, it's not a lot of money when the record company has spent $3 million to record your album. And in the record business, we pay all costs back to the record company. We pay recording costs, video costs. So now we have $2.6 million left. Well, guess what?
When you have that much money, you're in about the 47, 48, 49% tax bracket. So that immediately gets deducted to $1.3 million. Then you split the rest 3 ways. You got about $300,000 apiece, if that much. Okay? $300,000. I can buy a nice house with that. And what am I gonna pay my bills with?
Is everything going like we want, the track of our career?
No.
I can say this. Everything's not going the way we so-called, quote-unquote, would want it to be or how it should be. Step on up.
I'll tell it. We're not going to sugarcoat anything anymore. We've been quiet long enough. Can I get an amen?
Amen!
All right.
Well, first of all, 10 million albums and how can we be broke? It's kind of, I can't go into everything right now, but trust me, you can sell 10 million albums and be broke if you have greedy people behind you.
It's said that when TLC came off stage, Pebbles and Left Eye almost came to blows because Pebbles felt like TLC was lying and trying to make her look bad. Left Eye was going through a lot of turmoil in her professional career, and soon, tragedy was striking her personal life as well, because on September 7th, 1996, her close friend, Tupac Shakur, would be shot multiple times after a Mike Tyson championship fight in Las Vegas on East Flamingo Road with the CEO of Death Row Records, Suge Knight. And as they stopped at a red light, a white Cadillac pulled alongside of them and started firing multiple shots. 7 days later, Tupac would succumb to his injuries. Following his death, Left Eye would speak about Tupac, the times that they shared, and the things that he taught her.
Tupac, what did he mean to me? It was a little weird being in the presence of Tupac, and we're very similar. Similar to the point where we almost clashed. Both Geminis, and it was almost like 4 people being in a room. He had a purpose to serve during his time here. The most important advice he gave me was to be 100% real. He said that if I was real with somebody and if they couldn't accept it, then it was better to be respected for being real than, to try to lie.
While grieving the death of her close friend, Left Eye and TLC would continue to battle their record label for more favorable contracts and better financial compensation, but they refused, leaving TLC no other choice than to file for bankruptcy while having a multi-platinum album at the top of the charts. But there was only one issue filing for bankruptcy. The girls didn't have the $15,000 apiece to retain legal counsel. Left Eye had to go to her on-again, off-again boyfriend Andre Rison for the money, and he paid for their legal fees. Some people believe that TLC must have blew through their money, like so many other entertainers before them. But according to TLC, that was never the case, and they were never paid fairly, stating they only netted $50,000 after selling over 11 million records. They would sue LaFace Records and Pebbletone Management for unpaid royalties. The case got major media coverage. There was a lot of scrutiny behind it, so much that it began to cause issues in the marriage of Perry Reed and L.A. Reid, ultimately resulting in them getting a divorce. And according to Pebbles, she believed that Rozonda Chili Thomas had an inappropriate relationship with her ex-husband, which contributed to the demise of their marriage. Eventually, TLC was able to renegotiate their contract with LaFace Records. They received $10 million in unpaid royalties, and they were able to get from under the management of Perry Pebbles Reed. According to Left Eye, the group went through a down period. Even though commercially they were at the height of their success, internally they were struggling. It felt like anything bad that could happen happened to them, and the media coverage didn't help. But through it all, they stuck together. It was TLC versus the world, and their bond would continue to grow stronger. They were truly sisters.
It's like some of the things that we go through, it's like, dang, why we always got to be the ones? Why everything has to happen to us? But at the same time, if we didn't go through the bad times and the struggles and the hard work, we wouldn't be as close as we are. We wouldn't be as strong as we are. We wouldn't be as wise as we are. single most important thing in a man is loyalty.
Break it down. Commitment. That's what we be talking about.
What'd you think?
Oh, yeah.
What'd you think? Hello? Yeah. Chili. She's a character. She is so lovable.
T-Boz, Left Eye, and Chili in the house. The great thing about Left Eye is that, and she has a problem, she's too nice. She is way too sweet. And the thing that makes me mad and makes T-Boz mad is that she'll know that certain people aren't right around her, but she'll still keep them around and keep helping them and keep doing stuff. She's that type of person.
As the 90s came to a close and the new millennium approached, TLC was on the verge of beginning the process to record their third studio album. But there was an issue. Their longtime producer and collaborator, Dallas Austin, wanted certain terms to be met if he was going to continue to work with the group. He wanted more money and complete creative control, something that TLC would refuse to do. But by this time, Left Eye began to show musical aspirations outside of the group. She was featured on the 1997 Lil' Kim hit, Not Tonight, the remix, which was nominated for a Grammy. She also started her own company, Left Eye Productions, signing the group Black, who had a multi-platinum debut album. And she collaborated with Donell Jones on his chart-topping hit single, You Know What's Up. But Left Eye wasn't just looking to expand her horizons musically. She wanted to elevate on a spiritual level as well. She had grown tired of just being Left Eye, the pop superstar and controversial member of TLC. So she went on a spiritual journey to find herself, to be at peace. And that journey would take her to Central America, to La Ceiba, Honduras, where she met a man by the name of Alfredo Bowman, better known to the world as Dr. Sebi, an herbalist and self-proclaimed doctor, viewed as a controversial figure by some due to his unorthodox approach to medicine. But many of his believers view Dr. Sebi as a godsend, curing people of different ailments and diseases using natural herbs. And Left Eye was one of those people who believed in Dr. Sebi's teachings, that he helped her to heal, both spiritually and physically, through the power of a plant-based alkaline diet.
He's an immigrant from Honduras who never went to school, college, or medical school. But the man known as Dr. Sebi claims to have found the cure for several life-threatening diseases, including AIDS. Dr. Sebi believes what ails you can be cured with natural alkaline herbs and a vegetarian diet solely made up of what he calls electric foods: mushrooms, greens, and rye bread without starch.
I don't care what the media puts out and what people read. I believe in him. The most important thing in life is to have a very good diet, get rid of the meat, get rid of the sugar, and please get rid of the sodas. I've been cleansing on and off for 3 years now.
Now, are you on a fast right now? Somebody said you're fasting.
Yes, I am.
How long is the fast going to last?
40 days.
And where are you now?
11.
And how does it feel?
It feels wonderful.
Do you have any food at all, any substance?
Yeah, well, no, I drink juice, water, drink sea moss.
Sea moss?
Sea moss.
And what does that do for you?
Sea moss, well, see, the body is comprised of 102 minerals, and sea moss has 99 of them.
No kidding.
So it's
So you're feeling good?
Yeah.
Would you recommend this to a guy like Tyrese?
I would recommend it for everyone.
Eventually, TLC would come to terms with Dallas Austin and hit the studio to begin recording their third album, titled Fan Mail. It was projected to sell millions of records, but it would continue to be problems while trying to complete the project. Left Eye became disgruntled. She felt like she wasn't being heard and she didn't have any input on the direction of the album. Although they did take her advice for giving it a futuristic theme, sonically, she didn't have much say-so. She began to go to different media outlets, speaking about how she couldn't stand behind the project because it wasn't her vision. She was so uninspired, her new boyfriend had to help her write material. A man by the name of Marshall Lorenzo Martin, a computer repairman in Atlanta, that would come by the studio to help TLC fix their equipment. And one day him and Left Eye struck up a conversation and decided to go on a date. And after that very first date, they were in a relationship. This was during one of her and Andre's many breakups, and her and Marshall would fall in love very fast. He was actually the first person to go to Honduras with her, assisting in relief efforts for Hurricane Mitch. Andy co-wrote multiple songs on TLC's Fan Mail album, but T-Boz and Chili had a bad feeling about him. They felt like he was a bad influence on Left Eye, and they would be proven correct. It was found out that he was a married man, and he had allegedly stolen money from Left Eye as well, and that relationship would come to an end. But the creative power struggle recording the Fan Mail album would continue, and Left Eye would make a challenge to T-Boz and Chili, stating that each one of them should release a solo album to see who could sell the most records, finally proving who was the most talented, causing T-Boz and Chili to respond by saying that Lisa only cared about Lisa and that she was acting selfish. During the press run to promote the album, Left Eye would often miss radio and TV interviews, causing the other members of the group to have to cover for her.
Obviously, we are one short. We're missing the L in TLC. Left Eye. She okay?
She's gonna, well, don't get mad, but
What's wrong?
she don't feel good. She doesn't feel
She doesn't
good.
feel good?
All I have to say is Imodium AD, put it together.
I can't believe you just said that. Left Eye is throwing stuff at the TV right now if she's watching.
I can't believe she said that.
So I was wondering if you could quote me on this one. I can't stand 100% behind the TLC project and the music that's supposed to represent me.
Okay.
And the group. I would like to present the first challenge in the history of music. I challenge TLC to a 3-CD set. I challenge LaFace Records to put $1 million prize on the winner to release 3 singles at once.
On the winner, between the three of you?
Between the 3 of us.
Despite issues surrounding the creation of the Fan Mail album, on February 23, 1999, it was finally released almost 5 years after Crazy Sexy Cool. And Fan Mail was another smash hit for TLC, spending 5 weeks at the top of the Billboard charts. Led by their hit single, No Scrubs, the album sold millions of records and nominated for multiple awards, including 8 Grammys, winning 3.
And if you thought their tribulations were over, think again. In the midst of promoting Fan Mail, their first album in 5 years, which has held the #1 spot for the past 4 weeks, Lisa Left Eye Lopez once again heightened speculations about the group's fate.
And the winner is TLC. This is totally unexpected.
The success of the album would be followed by a North American tour, but after the tour wrapped in January of 2000, Left Eye decided to take a step away from TLC and a hiatus from the public eye, so she could focus on creating material for her upcoming solo album, and she could continue to work on her relationship with Andre. They did multiple interviews speaking about how they plan to get married on July 5th of 2001, but jealousy, arguments, and infidelity would continue to plague their relationship, and eventually they would go their separate ways, continuing the theme of makeup to breakup. And despite trying to stay out of the spotlight, in September of 2000, she would find herself in the media once again. After being reported as a missing person, she failed to show up for multiple engagements. Her record label, family, and friends couldn't get in touch with her, and after a few days, they reported her missing. But Left Eye was just fine. She decided that only one thing was better than showing up and being a star, not showing up and being a star. And she always wanted to take a long road trip, and that's what she did with her new boyfriend, a model and actor named Sean Newman. They met at a party being held for L.A. Reid, and they would fall in love immediately. Together they would travel from Atlanta to Central America, with the destination being Honduras. Left Eye always had a dream of living in the jungle, in nature, free. But this move would backfire in the media, once again making Left Eye look bad, and she would apologize to her concerned fans, stating that she didn't know how much it would affect them.
No one seems to know what happened. That's why everyone's so worried.
We're in the front. What page?
Although she's been cited in New Orleans, Los Angeles, New York, and Honduras.
That's right. And you know what? Fans, man, you took that kind of hard. I didn't know they were going to take it that hard.
Sean Newman would propose to Left Eye, and they planned to get married after only knowing each other for a short period. But things would fall apart, and it wouldn't last. In July of 2001, TLC would reunite on stage for the first time in over a year at the MTV 20th Anniversary Awards. But at this point, Left Eye was more interested in talking about her upcoming solo album, Supernova. She signed a deal with Arista Records. She put a lot of hard work and effort into the project. It's something that she was extremely proud of. She felt like it was a true expression of her creativity. She also dedicated a song on the album to her late father, Ronald Lopez Sr., called A Star Is Born, telling him how much she misses him and how he's always on her mind. The freedom of a solo album allowed her to convey certain messages to her fans that she felt were important in everyday life. One of those messages being the power of numerology and the role that it plays in the world every day, as well as manifestation, belief. The belief that you can achieve anything in life as long as you truly believe in yourself.
You have to know what road to take to get to your final destination, because a thought, just a thought form, can manifest itself into physical form. You know, so it's all about believing in yourself, believing in what you do, being able to see it, knowing how to get there, living it, and trust me, it'll happen. Ask and ye shall receive. That is a very true thing, you know. Am I surprised that I'm a superstar? Oh, let me see. That's a tricky question. I'm not surprised that I am a superstar because I have very high expectations of myself. And I set my goals very high. Ruling the world, you know. I'm one of those people who I believe in something to the fullest. I mean, I believe in it from my heart, and hey, strange things happen, you know.
But Left Eye would face issues with the release of her solo debut album. When the time came for the release, Arista Records wouldn't fully support the project, only giving it limited release in Europe, which frustrated and devastated Left Eye. But she would get another opportunity at a solo career through marrying Suge Knight, the former CEO of the legendary Death Row Records. He was fresh out of prison and ready to start his new record label called The Row, and he wanted Left Eye to be on the roster. But while they were having business discussions, those conversations turned romantic. According to Suge Knight, one day he was at his LA high-rise apartment and Left Eye showed up unexpected. Suge invited her in and they began to talk. But a few minutes later, there was another knock at the door. It was Bellman that had carts full of Left Eye's clothes. Suge said that after that day, she never left, and they were officially in a relationship. When Andre Rison got word of Lisa's new love interest, he didn't approve. He felt like it was messy because Tupac and Suge Knight were close, and Andre said that he was cool with Suge too. He said that he saw them out at a club one night, and he happened to make eye contact with Lisa. Over the years, they had went through multiple makeups and breakups, but it was something different about it this time. In Andre's mind, it was no coming back. It was really over. And Left Eye, she knew that it was really over too. Left Eye would continue to work on her solo album under the rap name of Nina, meaning new identity not applicable. She would do multiple interviews with Suge Knight, talking about the future plans for the label.
I was going to ask Nina, because a lot of people are watching, if you want to explain. Nina is on The Row, and is there still a Left Eye?
Left Eye is in TLC. Anything outside of Left Eye, outside of TLC, would be Nina.
Okay. That's it. And how did Ray J come into the picture of The Row Records? Is he in the picture for The Row? And Nina, what made you decide to work with The Row?
Actually, The Row found me.
Okay.
So I feel comfortable over here. This is a family. You know, there's a lot of love here. You know, and you know, I don't know about the past because I wasn't there, but I'm here now, and I hope that the vibe that I bring to the road, you know, is a peaceful vibe. You know, so.
Okay. We wish both of y'all luck.
But one day, Left Eye showed up to Suge Knight's office unannounced and found the room where he would hide his other women. According to witnesses, Left Eye took a bottle of bleach and began to douse everything in the office, causing thousands of dollars worth of damages, effectively ending her time at the label and ending her relationship with Suge Knight. Left Eye felt overwhelmed. She needed a break, a getaway from the treacherous music industry and from the hectic everyday life of a pop star.
I just want to leave and get lost.
So she decided to go to a place that had brought her so much peace and tranquility throughout the years, La Ceiba, Honduras, where she was building a youth activity center for the local kids in the village. It's said that even though she didn't speak much Spanish, everyone loved her. Dr. Sebi said that she was the light of the village, but this time she wasn't coming alone. She was bringing her whole team, her sister Raina, her brother Ronald Jr., and the newest act that she had signed to her management company, Egypt. Everyone was in good spirits and excited about the journey. They were going on a 30-day retreat where Left Eye would introduce them to the benefits of fasting, an alkaline diet, and proper meditation. And this trip to Honduras would also give her an opportunity to film footage for her upcoming documentary about her life, showing people who the real Lisa Lopez is, and not just the salacious media headlines. Each day of the 30-day retreat will hold a meaning in numerology, something that Left Eye was very passionate about. And although they were enjoying their time there, she began to have a bad feeling and premonitions that a spirit was chasing her. Because one day as she was driving through the village, the vehicle she was traveling in struck a young boy who would later die from his injuries. Left Eye would pay the hospital bill, the funeral cost, any expenses that the boy's mother had, and she would grieve his death constantly. She kept the pair of shoes that he was wearing the day that he passed.
You know what these are? These are the shoes that belong to the little boy. And his last name was Lopez.
Left Eye felt that she had a connection with the young boy, even though they weren't related. His last name was Lopez too, and on the 27th day of filming, which represents the highest level of change, she decided that she wanted to go to her favorite place in La Ceiba, Sambo Creek, to take pictures. She loved to go there because of the beautiful scenery. But on April 25th, 2002, as they were headed to their destination, tragedy would strike.
How you doing, sis?
Oh man, I'm good. We're gonna go to Sambo Creek and get some shots. Just getting footage of the vibe. You know what I mean? No, we need the red car.
Us, and it just stopped. So she went to swerve out of the way of the car, and the SUV went out of control.
Made a sudden stop, so Lisa went around that truck, and as she went around, it was a car coming like real fast towards us. So to avoid a collision, she just, went off to the left, swerved, and she the truck, the way she swerved, it was a stick shift. It was like and actually there's a recall in that model that we had. It was a Montero. The stick, it's like the gears locked up on us, and it flipped over, and it hit a tree, and the whole truck flipped over. That's the miracle in the midst of the tragedy. Lisa saved everybody's life, because if she didn't make that turn, then everybody would have got killed. The way that car was coming towards the truck, it would have been a head-on-head collision. It would have been very, very bad. It would have been worse. It would have probably been 10 deaths instead of 1.
Lisa's death would shock the entertainment world and devastate her millions of fans. On May 2nd, 2002, 30,000 people from all over the world would descend upon Lithonia, Georgia, to pay their respects to the legendary entertainer, including Andre Rison. It was a very painful time for her family. She was extremely close to her mom, along with her daughter Snow, who she adopted when she was just a little girl, as well as her sisters in TLC. From breakups to bankruptcies, they had been through a lot together, to the heights of pop stardom, to the lows of the harsh realities of the music industry. Through the good times and the bad, they always stuck together no matter what. And following her passing, T-Boz and Chili would let it be known how much Lisa meant to them and how much of a special person that she truly was.
I want to start off by saying God is good. That's the only reason we're able to stand here tonight. Thank Lisa's family. Even if they don't recognize it, her mother, her brother, and her sister have given us tremendous strength.
Here's album number 33. It's Elton John's Simple Life. Check it out. TLC. Be right back. Check this.
Chaka Khan. Chaka Khan. Chaka Khan. Chaka Khan.
Right again.
Off with his head.
This girl is crazy.
Can I get an amen? Amen. We back, y'all. This is T-Boz.
What's your name, Rhea?
My name is T-Boz. What your name is?
My name is Left Eye. What your name is?
What your name be like? Chilla.
Woo! What that stand for?
My name Chilla. Chilla.
TLC. TLC's in the house.
You know what's TLC.
Left Eye stated that she believed when someone passed on, it wasn't the end, only the beginning of a new journey. And if you look up in the sky, a new star is born. She wanted to make a positive impact on the world and inspire people through her music, and I believe that she accomplished that goal. She was truly one of a kind. And Lisa Left Eye Lopez, she was only 30 years old when she died. Rest in peace, Queen.